Well, welcome everybody to the post-game show here at Enemies of the Fire. We're quickly breaking down Chicago Fire losing in penalties to Philadelphia Union, clawing their way back with 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game, while down 2-0 and without their best player. The questions are going to be, how soon can we get Zinkernagel back? Because he's key to this team. Great game for the Fire to stay in that, hang in there, and bring it to penalties. Without Zink, do you think it was bad officiating this game? That's what Toka's saying. Greg's first half tactics were, kind of to bunker in almost first 60, 70 minutes, and then they, unleashed. I wonder if the last game being so soon, being Wednesday, led to them playing a bit like that, trying to conserve more energy. 2 center backs taking penalties for the Chicago Fire. And they both missed, unfortunately, even though Elliott is the one who knotted us up. It's just stunning to see 2 center backs, and it's like, Orahel was out, I guess, and Bamba did take one, I thought. He took one of the second, I thought he scored the second one. They must have had competitions that these guys are the better kick takers on the team. You'd like to think that. They knew that, right? Chat saying that home field advantage next week, though, and that's going to make this whole series far from over. Saturday, 5:30 p.m. It says Soldier Field right now. That's what... I think that's wrong. But according to Google, it says Soldier Field. I think they'll change that to SeatGeek. Do you think we get better home field advantage at SeatGeek or at Soldier Field? Chat says neither. Chat says neither are a good advantage for the Fire. I was talking about this during the game. They need to get a dome on this new stadium project, especially after not necessarily what we experienced last week was like abysmal or super, super cold. It's just knowing what we'd be in store for November and December, March, February, January games. It's just get a dome, Joe. Haile Selassie filled in nicely for Zink. Did what he could at last second notice. Goody was a spark. Chat, thanks for joining us, Serena, here on this post-game show. We'll see you soon. Chat saying top 10 Greg mistakes happened tonight, and that just bit us in the butt, which is unfortunate. From a 2-0 game, though, that's the thing. When we talking about Greg mistakes, we also got to say, he did pull some strings right. He's dealing with a low-energy team here, a team that's played this is its 3rd match in 7 days, and they had to figure that out. They had to mitigate that. So his strategy was, sit back in the first half, sit back the first half of the second half, and until you're forced to go forward, then go forward, go get it. It's going to change when they have a little bit more rest. When they have a week's rest, this coming Saturday, things are going to change. Hopefully Zinkernagel's healthy. Hopefully the abdominal issue is not serious. It makes you wonder, hopefully it's not some sort of hernia, right? You do not want it to be a hernia here during the playoffs and lose your best player. We need it, especially when we lost Franco just a few weeks ago, who was playing lights out in that midfield. Now we're seeing great stuff out of Davila, although tonight, couple errant passes, couple missed passes. Dean, couple issues. I would say Gutman, a couple defensive issues. Offense, we were having trouble getting things going, but when we did, we showed flashes. Bamba was really relied upon tonight, managed to score a goal. I think he had 3 or 4 shots total. Manages to get a goal with one of those. That was huge. If only he had managed that second one, but still, he was making things happen. Guti comes on, does a lot of magic, I thought. Meanwhile, Orahel, I thought he played a great game until that red card where he lost his head. And the thing was, he was just going to defend Guti. Just going to defend him. Pops up, runs over. Maybe the guy fell, a little bit, oh, a little afraid. But they both got yellows, right? Both those players, Guti and the other player from Philly. And meanwhile, losing Orahel for a minute didn't hurt so bad, but maybe losing him for penalties did. That sucks. But still, great game out of the Fire to be able to come back 2-0 out of that, to force it 2-2. Bamba willing them back. Captain Elliott willing them back. Sure, they didn't finish the job with penalties. Tough job to do there at Philly against a studly MLS goalkeeper in Jamaican international Andre Blake. Going to be at the World Cup. We might have seen 2 World Cup keepers tonight in the form of Chris Brady, potentially being maybe a third team backup or reserve for the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup, and then Andre Blake, likely starter for Jamaica. It's a little disappointing. It hurts a little bit, but at the same time, there's a lot of good in this. And it even goes back to our previews that we put out before the game. Good stuff. Just talking about, there's been a lot of good from this team, a lot of good flashes that they've shown, especially lately. These last 2 games, playing these last 2 games the way they did, unbelievable. They flipped a switch tonight. And were able to get that second goal. Not always going to be able to flip that switch, right? And they weren't able to keep that flip switch for penalties. However, being able to do what they did bodes well for the future, and even maybe bodes well for the series. There's a good chance Philly could take it in this next game. There's a good chance they're a damn good team. They're number 1 for a reason. We saw 2 damn good teams out here tonight. I think the tables will be a little turned in Chicago, though. I'm hoping that the tables will be a little turned, more so in the Fire's favor, getting a week's rest, hopefully getting Zinkernagel back. These things will hopefully compound into good things for the Fire. There was Kuipers left some things on the field today. He really wanted one, almost was there. And then maybe we see another Goody start. Goody played so well. He's been playing, but also him coming off the bench, he's flying. Drew that card right away from Philly, creating chances left and right. So a lot of good that we saw from the Fire. Chat, Brian saying it was a great game that showed we can compete with the number 1 seed, even without Zink. Great point. We were competing with the number 1 seed. Cheers, by the way, everybody. Without Zink. Not a bad result. Not a bad performance. I mean, the can't quit in these guys. We were talking early on, us in the chat, and we're like, oh, there's the Fire we knew. And I was thinking, I'm like, I don't think so yet. And all of a sudden, bam, Baba forcing one back in, gets us back into it. Bam, Elliott comes, somehow knots it up, wills us back into tying the game. Greg, great coach. He's pulling the right strings. Yes, there were a couple Greg mistakes tonight. Maybe maybe it was penalties. Maybe it wasn't. Here's the thing. We're not there at practice. We don't know who are the best penalty kickers. We can only guess. But it is intriguing that the best penalty kickers on the team, if they are, in fact, who took penalties tonight, barring, Zink not being available, and maybe Franco not being available as well due to injury, it's maybe it is Elliott. Maybe it is Waterman. Hopefully they can bury it next time if it ever comes down to that. If it comes down to this in a third game, we win the second game, go back to Philly for that third game, ends up in penalties again, and we take it. Let's fucking go. Got to get something going. They got momentum. The Fire did not lose momentum in this game. That's key. That's key. Scoring a lot of good goals, offensively very in tune. They turned it on. They scored goals within 20 minutes as soon as they turned it on. Philly was running for their lives, and they couldn't keep it out. Proof is in the pudding. Ended up 2-2. So Philly is going to have a lot to contend with the Chicago Fire offensively. That's for sure. The Chicago Fire are going to have a lot defensively on their plate with the Philadelphia Union as well. They're no joke. Chat, I greatly appreciate you all joining us here on Enemies of Fire here in this post game, breaking down Chicago Fire and Philadelphia Union, the 2-2 tie that ended up in penalty kicks with Philadelphia winning it 4-2. Looking ahead to next game, Chicago, Philadelphia, gonna be probably at SeatGeek. Probably gonna see a lot of the same players you saw tonight. Ty Baribo playing some really good football. Kuipers playing some really good football, and hopefully this loss of a game for Zink does not truly affect his form too much. But even last game, the Wednesday night game, he wasn't the Fire's most prolific player. he was still very involved and probably the Fire's one of the better players. He's helping out so much. He is the Fire's best player night to night. But at the same time, they were able to make stuff happen with him having a quiet night. And here tonight, making this result happen without Zinc on a not so quiet night, getting 2 goals in the last 20 minutes, last 10 minutes really, but when they turned it on, last 10, 20 minutes, there's stuff to build on here. There's good signs. There's good indicators. Things we like to see as Fire fans. Things that could inspire a little bit of hope. You know, if it all ends next game, it's been a great season, but hopefully it doesn't, right? I think that this team has shown enough that they're not done. They haven't quit. They're not ready to go golfing. They are ready to go and push farther. So are we here at Enemies of the Fire. Thanks for joining us. It's been awesome hanging out with you guys, watching the game live. I'll take a look at the other games while we do. Before I shut it down here, I know that there's a few others going on. Let's refresh this and see what other games we got. 0-0 Vancouver, Dallas. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. All right, 0-0 right now, 39th minute over Vancouver. Damn, Chicago Fire. Did they leave it? Did they leave it all on the field? I think they did. I think they left it all on the field. They played their hearts out. That one hurt. But man, they showed that they could compete with the best in this league right now. And that's as an 8 seed. That's in the first year of the project. Let's go. Let's take the positives out of this and go and get that dub in the next one at SeatGeek Stadium on Saturday, November 1st, 5:30 p.m., I believe Central Standard Time. I'm thinking Vancouver probably wins this game. I'll pull it up. Vancouver FC. Whoa, wait. Vancouver MLS. There we go. Man. Damn. That's going to burn. That's going to burn inside the Fire. Hopefully, they're able to burn that energy into something good. Get a great week of practicing. Get fresh legs again. Start feeling good. And come in and dominate Saturday evening. Let's go, boys. Let's recover. Pick up the pieces. Get it back together. Mueller on the ball. Oh, little left cut. Oh, chance developing for Vancouver. Wow. That's going to be fun. All right. It's fun to be here. It's fun to be here, right? We're Chicago Fire fans, and it's nice to be back in the MLS playoffs and scoping the land. Like, all right, doing a little scouting stuff. We're still in this. All right, guys. It has been a blast hanging out with you. Thank you for hanging out with us here on Enemies of the Fire. I'm going to shut it down. Good luck. See you next. We won't see you. We'll have a podcast out on Thursday, but we'll probably be at the game on Saturday and then probably be back for another live stream, hopefully, here for the final game. If it makes it that far, hopefully it does, and that's a good sign. It'll be a good indicator that the Fire is still in it. Good luck to your MLS team if you're just a fan of MLS. Thanks for hanging out here. And everybody, Fire fans, go Fire! Let's go. Fire it up. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Help us hit our goal of 500 subscribers. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for Serena and DPG joining, hopping on. Shout out to chat. Everybody in chat hopping in. That was a fun one. And we will see you next time here on Enemies of Fire. Good night. Later.